What's going on, beautiful world? Welcome to another episode of the Black Sheep Perspective. Today is November, where we at? Where we're at? November 9th. No, 9th.
9th? Oh,
9th.
shit.
November 9th. My mom's birthday was last week. Happy birthday, Mom. Love you to death. She just turned 73. She's in great shape. She's my biggest fan, and I'm her biggest fan. Just want to give her a shout out. Guys, we're getting close to the end of the year, man. I got some great news. Maybe I'll say it later on, but I'm just waiting for something to come through. But more importantly, I'm very, very excited about my guest today. This is somebody who's very well known in our community here in Miami. He's someone who's very beloved. He's someone who's very supported with everything that he does. He was born and raised in Venezuela to some great parents who definitely brought him up good, taught him a whole lot. They instilled many good things in him because he's a hustler at heart, and he's got two hardworking parents who taught him that. At some point, they all moved over here to New York at first, kind of stayed in that tri-state area, so he kind of found that little New York hustle, that New York swag, Jersey swag, everybody up there who definitely puts their efforts into, what they do. There's certain cities, certain states that we really got that hustle in us.
People are hungry then.
Yeah, and especially during certain times.
Definitely.
And anyhow, eventually he came to Miami. His people's moved to Miami. Here he had, he was about 13, did his thing, got involved with certain crews, had a lot of fun, did a lot of crazy shit, things that we're going to talk about. And eventually he decided to take his ass to the Army. He wanted to get a little bit more clarity. He kind of wanted to think things out, which I think was a great decision by all means. It's not always for everybody, man, but it's a great way to say time out and just, think shit over, really. So there he did his thing for just under 4 years, comes back out, hits the grind, hits the hustle, trying to find his way through, and then eventually gets heavy into the pawn shop / jewelry. Does it always go hand in hand, Jose? Is it always something?
It doesn't go hand in hand all the time, no. There's different types of pawn shops.
Right.
But, I just fell in love with the hustle, brother. That's
okay.
What it is,
Well, he became one of the top dogs over here, opened up his own pawn shop, West Miami Jewelry. Super known. It's a staple over here. And now, congratulations, my brother, you just opened up your second location. Yes, literally sir. In the making right now. Yes, literally days from like grand opening type shit. That's huge. That's exclusive here. So, Jose Guerrero, brother, my homeboy.
My brother.
I really appreciate you coming, man.
And
really
thank you for having me, bro.
I really do.
You.
For those who don't know, I'll tell you guys right now, I train Jose, both of Jose's sons. He has a son. Well, you got a big family.
I got a couple of them, bro.
Yeah. I first met Mikey. Mikey is he's the truth, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. That kid's he's gifted when it comes to this mixed martial arts, and I'm expecting big things. I hope he doesn't let the teenage life and all. I'm making dumb decisions, but we just had a great conversation about that off cam that I know we'll talk about soon. I hope he makes all the right decisions because the talent is there, man. The drive is there, and so while teaching Mikey, eventually I met Jose. I met him once. We start following each other on IG, and I'm like, damn, we know all the same people. I mean, just
That's right,
everybody that I fuck with, you fuck with. And then when I'm talking to other people, they ask me about you, and they're like, oh, how do you know Jose? I'm like, man, I only met him once, but dude seems like one of my type of people. I don't know how I don't know him. And then, it's like, real ones know real ones, I started eventually training JJ, your other son, and these are two great kids out of what's the total?
There's 6. 6, yeah. 6.
But this is the first time, outside of when we met a week ago, this is the first time that we get to really kick it like this, man. You're a stand-up dude. Everybody that I've ever met, has so many great things to say about you. You're always involved in the community. You're always trying to do stuff. Right now, you were really hustling hard to try to help Jamaica out.
Yeah, 100%. So right now, we're collecting donations to send to Jamaica. Actually, the first container goes out this Tuesday, Veterans Day. So very excited for that. We just finished dropping off a bunch of goods today. And we're just going to continue doing this as long as it takes to get them back on their feet.
Did you get that from your parents, that good-hearted stuff? I mean, you don't have to raise money. You can just be a businessman. You're not obligated to, but you're making the effort.
I don't know if I got that from my parents. I really don't remember my parents being involved in the community like that. It's just something that's in me, brother. I don't do it for glory. I don't do it for nothing. I do it because it's the right thing to do. I'm blessed, and I believe in blessing others.
We were talking about, right before we started recording, we were talking about for about a good 15, 20 minutes, and we were discussing just how big of an impact all the variables that surround an upbringing of somebody. And we were talking about when kids, I told you about a messed up situation that I was in when I was younger, an accident that I had, and I told you about a decision I made to come back after the accident happened. And you were like, you could have ran. And then that's what kind of caused the topic of, people who would not return. And I told you, it's like, man, I was raised different. And I think that somebody who does run in such a situation, those type of people, if you look back to their upbringing in some shape or form, can't just blame it on the parents. And that's something that we discuss. It's not all parental because, at some point you got to let these kids journey into the, peers and peer pressure and then, making decisions on their own. And
there's things that are in you. Some people have it, some people don't. You got to know what's right and what's wrong. At that point, going back to face the consequences of your actions, I think that I'm going to call you a BMF, right? You're a bad motherfucker.
Right.
Because that takes a lot. And I think that facing reality and facing life, you're going to have people who just don't do it. They can't do it. They can't face consequences, So they tend to run away from everything.
On that BMF tip, man, quick shout out to Yuli, our homeboy, of course.
That's a BMF right there.
Yeah, man, that's one of our brothers right there. I know he's another reason that this friendship has evolved between us. So shout out to Yuli. But you're a BMF for yourself, my bro, and you've been through a lot of different things. When you came over here to Miami, and I said earlier when I was presenting you that things were going a certain way that you didn't like it, where you decided to go to the Army. Kind of enlighten us on that. What was it that you were involved in doing that made you want to do that as a way to kind of clean up your act?
Bro, so it's simple. I felt that I wasn't going anywhere at all. I was in Miami. I had a job. This is home. Nothing else has ever felt like home except Miami. When I first came to the United States at 10 years old, you're young. You kind of get molded to whatever you have around you.
Right.
At that point, I adapted to living in Jersey, going to visit my dad in New York while he was working. And, my mom had a shop in Route 4 right there in Patterson. So that whole, hustle and bustle going back and forth or whatever. But I didn't feel like home. When we got to Miami, it was a different story. I fell in love with everything about Miami. I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with the culture. This is it's like in Venezuela say un mondongo, right? It's like mondongo. It's a soup, bro. Miami's a soup. And
by the way, according to that video with what's the name? You've done many videos with him.
Flavor.
Yeah, he did that video with all the Dominicans and all that. That's what they call it. It was that same freaking topic. That's hilarious.
So
but okay,
it's a multicultural soup.
Right,
That's what we're in, and you start meeting different people. I met Venezuelans, and I met Cubans, and I met Colombians, and you're meeting all these people, and you're making yourself your little group. And I built a great, tight group. But obviously, we got into trouble. As every teenager does. You start doing things that sometimes are positive, sometimes they're negative, sometimes, And I started getting into a lot of issues and a lot of trouble as I got a little bit older and I got out of high school. And a lot of it had to do because of my taste in life, right? I was always chasing women, I always wanted to go fast because I like to go fast. Everything about me is always like that. And at that point, I made some bad decisions. I was when I graduated high school, we had a crew. It was called 305 SR, which is stood for Miami Street Racing.
305 SR.
SR.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were big into street racing. We were big into going to the hangouts. We were big into, hanging out with the chicks and everything that came along with the car culture.
Right.
At that point, there was a couple of issues that we ran into. There was fights, obviously. Back at the hangouts on Bird and Luria's and Saga Bay. I don't know if you're familiar with
Saga Bay, of course.
Saga Bay.
Before it got developed, that's where people would go and drag race.
Right,
yes,
so you had Saga Bay, you had State Road 9, Okeechobee,
yeah.
all these places, And unfortunately, in one of those situations, one of those races that we were at, one of the persons that was involved in the whole thing got into an accident. And, we saw everything that went down. We left the guy there. Guy didn't get hurt. We saw the guy get out of the car, but we left him there, Things escalated from there. They escalated, and then we realized that you know that this was going to be even more complicated. Or I realized it was going to be more complicated because at that point things happened where the guy didn't want to get in trouble because of his car, getting caught in the street racing scene or whatever. So he reported that car stolen. That car gets reported stolen. All of a sudden, we have the police involved, and the police are starting to look into the whole situation of what's happening with the street racing, with the events, with this and that. And my name is thrown into the whole mix of everything. So at this point, I'm running 305SR, and we're probably, at that point, that site had maybe 5,000 members at that point. This is a message board at forum. Back in the day, there was no groups on Facebook or whatever it was.
Right.
So you had a message board, and this is how it worked. A lot of the guys that I still kick it with are from those days, So anyways, long story short, the police get involved, and they start looking for this and see who's running the site, who arranged that race, who did this and that. And at that point, it was like, to me, it's like, get your shit together,
right?
And go. And I didn't think twice about it. I went to Bird Road, right there next to this Pincho factory, the Pincho factory right there. I went right there. I signed up to the Army. I think I signed up like in October 7th.
Were you in pretty decent shape? You had no worries about like the boot camp factor or anything like that, or it just wasn't crossing your mind at the time?
I wasn't in decent shape. I wasn't in bad shape. I was skinny fat. You know what I'm saying? I was skinny fat. My nickname in high school is Shorty. So I'm 5'6". I think I weighed like 150, 160 pounds when I was in about to join in. So I was skinny fat. I wasn't too fat, but I wasn't in shape. But I didn't care. Right. That to me was like, oh, whatever. I'm joining the Army. I joined. I think it was on October 7th.
How were your parents feeling about that when they did that? Were they aware of you kind of dancing with the devil by the pale moonlight type shit?
I tell you this, my dad, ex-military in Venezuela, right? So didn't really bother him. My mom, on the other hand, she wanted to kill this recruiter guy because you meet the recruiter, you sign the paperwork. I take the ASVAB or whatever. I pass that thing with flying colors. Not a big deal. I get my pick of jobs. But then he's coming with me to meet my parents. I used to live right there by Bird on 147. And, my mom wanted to kill him, brother. My mom didn't want to have it. She started crying. She said, why are you doing this? You got to understand, I enlisted in 2003. 2001, 9/11 had just happened. So
she's thinking, it's only going to be a quick minute before you go get deployed.
We're getting deployed.
Right.
That was the whole, I enlisted knowing I was going to be deployed. So let's go for it. I didn't care. I wanted to get out of Miami. I wanted to do something for myself. I wanted to be independent. I wanted to feel better and get away from the little things that were chasing me around.
Right.
Because it was literally every time we went somewhere, I'm in this car scene. I'm in love with the car scene. And every time we go somewhere, there's a fight breaking out or there's an issue happening,
Right. Back then, the gangs were a lot more active, too. Not to say that you were in it, but, they're always going to be around.
Well, I kick it with everybody. I'm always kicked it with everybody. So, LKs were around. We talked about the Bird Road boys were around, everybody. But at the end of the day, I'm such a friendly motherfucker that I get along with everybody, bro.
Right.
So that was not the main issue. The issue was in between the different car crews, you have like M3 boys, and then you have, the Honda kids,
right.
And you have this and that. But there was always like a little altercation or something always happening, And the drama was following me, bro. I'm not a dramatic guy,
right.
So it's like I wanted out of it. And that's what I saw was like, okay, let me go see what the Army's about. I go in, I take the test, and they tell me, oh, look, if you sign up for this job, which I didn't know nothing about the Army, nothing. When you go and you take this test, you get qualified for different jobs. And I got qualified for every single job out there. And now he's showing me how much money the bonuses are. I'm like, all right, I like cars. You have a mechanic job that's got an $18,000 bonus. I'll take that. Didn't think twice about it. Didn't think about my future. Didn't think about anything. I just said, I'm going to go work on vehicles and light vehicle mechanics, a diesel, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, I'm going to have a great time. And that's what I did. I signed up for that and signed in October, left in November, like 2nd.
Now you said you were cruise controlling while you were in the Army. To the extent that you even said you were kind of bored, you know,
I was
and
bored,
and I've heard that from several different people, except from those really that kind of get deployed and go through that crazy shit.
Right.
Not that they chose to want to do it, but how bored can you be, you know, when that happens? And by the way, shout out to our military. You were there for several years until you found out something crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, so you know, I enlisted in 2003, and in December 2005, I get diagnosed with you know, I had this pain. I'll tell you like this. Let's put it this way. Let me move this real quick. So in December 2005, I get I'm already having these pains. I've been having these pains in my testicles. Let's put it like that. My balls hurt. Right?
He's not joking. He's not joking.
My balls hurt. And my balls have been
in Miami, they call it tremendo dolor de huevo.
Yeah, me duelen los huevos. So me duelen los huevos. Me duelen los huevos for a long time, bro. You know, I'm talking about, you know, I've been in pain now. I've been in the military now since.
What were you thinking? Because you were probably ignoring it for a minute. You were probably thinking, I got major blue balls from not getting no pussy.
So that was part of it. I'm gonna tell you this shit. Right? So we go. I have this pain or whatever. They send me to the infirmary or whatever, and I get to the infirmary. I tell the chick, it was the doctor there. I told her, listen, my balls hurt. She's like, oh, what do you mean? And I'm like, yeah, it feels heavy. Here, my balls feel heavy. And she's like, oh, well, you probably have blue balls. Like, I don't think she put it like that.
Right.
But she goes, oh, you might have this, whatever. And then she gives me some ibuprofen and tells me, you know, it could be a growing pool as well. So we go to that. So it's a growing pool. Okay, a couple of weeks go by. Still hurting. So once again, they tell me it's a growing pool and you're dehydrated. They give me an IV. They give me some ibuprofen 800s, and you keep on going with your life. That's the military for you. Something's wrong with you, ibuprofen 800s, and, you know, take a day off rest or whatever, which you go right back to you doing everything you do, except you didn't work out that day. So this continues like this. I'm here in Miami during December, you know, Exodus or whatever, break or whatever we got. We got some time off, and I'm here in Miami. And at that point, and I remember this clearly, I had a 97 Turbo Eclipse, red fucking Eclipse, you know, beautiful Mitsubishi Eclipse, you know. And I'm going to Dolphin Mall. Watch this. I'm going to Dolphin Mall to drop off lunch for my girlfriend. When I get into the car, as I'm coming back, I'm just dropped off the lunch or whatever, I go and I push the clutch of the car in, and I hear something pop.
Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness.
People tell me I'm crazy.
Oh, my goodness. I don't even want to think about this.
People tell me I'm crazy, right? But I don't think I'm crazy. I heard something pop, and I'm in the worst pain of my life. I start crying. Like, I'm crying without crying. Like, tears are just falling down my face. Like, I have tears falling down my face. And I'm in the worst pain that I've had ever. And there's, you know, I don't know what to do. I try to push the clutch in.
Did you feel the pain directly on your nut, or you had no idea where it was at?
I felt it on my leg and my abdomen. And then when I try to push the clutch one more time, I felt it in my balls, and the ball sack. And then I get out of the car.
It wasn't left or right. It was just the whole thing.
It was my balls hurt, bro. There was no, at that point, the GPS wasn't working, so I didn't know if it was my right ball or my left ball that hurt.
Fuck,
you know,
no, this is
hurt,
wild,
man.
dude. Okay.
You know, so
yeah.
I walk in. I'm like walking into Dolphin Mall because remember, at that point, I think I had like a Kyocera cell phone with Metro PCS, right? My girlfriend didn't even have a cell phone, so whatever. I'm walking in. I get there. I walk through the little kiosk where she does like the little, she was doing the little eyebrows with the little chalk and I guess string or whatever it was at that point, because you know every couple of years you have like a new trend that pops up.
Right.
So she was doing that, and I go over there and I tell her, I'm like, listen, this hurts, and what are we gonna do? So at that point I couldn't drive. She doesn't know how to drive stick, so we end up getting a car from like I think it was like one of her coworkers, and we go to Homestead Baptist. Because I'm thinking, okay, Baptist and Homestead, less people, will be faster. We get there, and I'm there like 3 hours. She takes me there. And nothing happens. I get frustrated. I'm like, let's go. I'm fine. She's like, no, let's go to Kendall Baptist. I'm like, all right, let's go to Kendall Baptist. She takes me to Kendall Baptist. I get to Kendall Baptist. In about an hour, they do an ultrasound. It's been maybe 2.5 hours after that. I'm getting frustrated. I'm like, I'm ready to go. I get up as I'm walking out, bro. this kid, a young, I don't know if he was like, what he was. I don't know what his job was. I don't know if he pushes people around, transportation, or he was a nurse. I don't know what it was.
Nurse practitioner,
but he
probably.
tells me, he's like, hey, don't leave. They found something. So at this point, I'm kind of freaked out. Within 20 minutes, they put me in the room, and doctor comes in and says, listen, so you're having internal bleeding out of your testicle. He's like, but don't worry. It's, probably not cancer, because cancer doesn't hurt until it's really advanced. That's how he tells me. I'm like, okay. He said, you got two choices. We can send you home and see if the bleeding stops, and then you can come back. Keep in mind, this is like December 29th or December 28th, or we can do surgery and take it out and stop the bleeding. And I didn't think twice about it. There was no choice. I'm like, take it out, stop the bleeding. I didn't think of consequences. I didn't think
right.
You might not have kids.
Uh-huh.
We don't know what's really going to go with the surgery. I didn't think.
Thinking like any man with a pain in his balls.
Really,
just make it stop, bro.
Yes,
just make it stop.
Right? So at that point, they do surgery. I think it was December 29th in Baptist right here in Kendall. They do surgery. And that's when they take out the testicle. And the doctor comes in and he's like, listen, so they do like an operating room biopsy. And he's like, it was cancer. So your tumor got so big that it was, your tumor was actually encapsulated in the testicle. And it got so big that it popped the testicle open. And that's why you were bleeding internally.
Right.
So there was no testicle left. Like the tumor had consumed the testicle. So they removed the left testicle. I only got one. Now I get the right one. I'm a monopod, so we'll call it that. And so at that point he tells me, look, it's cancer or whatever. They still have to send it out to do the rest of the testing. So about a week and a half goes by. I guess I'm home. About a week and a half goes by, and I find out that I had embryocarcinoma and a teratoma. So it was like two types of cancers there. And that's where we start with the whole process of scans, PET scan or CT scan. I don't know which one came first, everything else. And they start doing this. And they do a scan, and they find a little node on my left lung. And the doctors grab me, and they're like, listen, you got to have chemo. You should have chemo. You don't have to have it, but you should have chemo.
Catch it now.
Yeah. So once again, they didn't think much of it. I'm like, let's go have chemo. At that point, I was sent to go freeze my sperm in case I wanted to have kids, because they don't know if they're going to have to remove that right testicle at any point in time, blah, blah. So they send me to the clinic. I go and they freeze my sperm, which that was like the hardest part, bro. Imagine they just took out your left testicle, right? They just took out one of my balls, and you're asking me to jack off. I'm trying to jack off without hitting what they just cut me. So
Oh, I thought they were going in to take it out on their own.
No,
man. You gotta fucking
yeah. You gotta milk yourself, bro. It's like
first time milking yourself with one nut.
With one nut. So I'm freaking out. I'm hearing my mind. I'm like, what if it leaks out of the other nut? So you're right. What if nothing comes out? What if it comes out with blood? I'm like this.
Yeah, because you don't know how that works now.
I don't know how it's working now, right?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if it's gonna leak out of somewhere. Yeah. I'm like, what if they didn't tie it right? So whatever. Long story
all
short.
This while you're trying to stay focused.
They take you to this little room and it's like, hey, here you go, or do it at home. I think they send me home. They send me home, and then they're like, you gotta have the specimen back within like 30 minutes after you do it. Yeah, so they send you home with it, whatever. So it gets done, freeze the sperm, and then start doing the whole process of TRICARE and everything in the military to get the whole chemo thing going. So this is where life starts changing for me, right? So I was about to get deployed in March or of April that year. So now my status in the military changes. I'm no longer deployable, right? Because now I'm having chemotherapy. So now what happens to that whole unit that I was going to be, deployed with?
Right.
That unit that I've been training with at that point.
Right.
It's like at this point, it's like, hey, we need to figure out your health situation first, and then make a decision on what's going to happen with your military career. Want to take a break there?
Yeah. What's going on, beautiful world? Just want to remind you guys that this podcast is officially hitting its 5th year anniversary, and it's all because of you. Truly appreciate all the love and support that every one of you guys have showed. And if you haven't struck that subscribe button, please do now. And if you like the content that you're hearing, how about you put that thumbs up? Now let's get back to the podcast.
So, that whole military career part of it, what are we going to do? What's going to happen now? Mm-hmm. My unit's about to deploy. And this is where the mindfuck begins. My unit's about to deploy. The people that I've been training with. And now I'm going to be moved to a different unit where I don't know anybody, number one. And these guys just came back from deployment. So that's how it goes down.
Right.
Because I'm no longer mission ready. So then these guys, as I start my whole chemo, whatever, I'm like, I get my port put in. I start my first round of chemo. Doesn't feel too bad, At this point, I'm like, I'm normal, I get into my second round of chemo, and I start feeling it. I start having these pains, right? They give me these shots to increase my white blood cell count. And these shots are like, imagine like your bones hurting from inside, like your body, like they're making your white blood cells grow, your bone marrow grow, whatever it is, and you're feeling this pain, dude. Now at this point, I'm having I believe it was called cisplatin and BEP, so it was like something based with platinum.
Okay.
And it was making my nails black, hair starts falling off.
And how old are you right now while this is happening?
This is 2006, so I'm 21 years old.
Okay.
21 years old, 21. I turned 22 that year in November. So my birthday is actually November 18th. So, and this is already maybe February of this year. So as I'm going through this, man, my dad gets diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Now I'm already mind fucked because of this whole situation with the testicular cancer.
Right.
I know I'm gonna beat it. Like there's no options, bro. Right? Like there is no option. I know I'm gonna beat this. But my dad gets diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And all of a sudden, like this whole thing in my body is like, did my dad just like sacrifice himself for me, right? I start thinking this. I keep going with my chemo. My dad's having chemo at the same time. So now we're both having chemo. So now I don't care about the military. I don't care about nothing else. I care, just trying to recover. I start getting fat. I go from, I told you I was skinny fat before I joined.
Right, when you were younger, yeah.
Then I get fit, while I'm in the military, I get fit. And then now, because my metabolism's slowing down, because now I'm just not doing anything. And the only thing that I could eat that I could taste, and I didn't want to throw up or I didn't feel bad about it because I had this whole metallic taste in my mouth, was Taco Bell. So now I'm addicted to Taco Bell. I'm eating this. This is like one of the only meals that I'm having. And I gained a bunch of weight. So now I have, you're dealing with all that. You're dealing with your change of feeling about yourself. Now you're feeling bad about yourself, You're going through chemo, that you're going to beat that. Now your dad is sick. It's like, wow. Like, what else are you going to throw at me, And I finished my 3 or 4 rounds of chemo somewhere in April or May of that year. And in June of that year, my dad is told, hey, the chemo's not working. We're going to stop chemo for you. And, you only got a couple of months to live, right? So at this point, they tell me that I'm in remission. So I'm being told I'm in remission. And then my dad's being told that he's terminal.
Right.
So as happy as I am that I'm in remission,
of course,
now I've seen this guy, este gordito, right? Because that was my dad. If you see a picture of my dad, he's got this mafioso look to him, gordito, ojo verde, right? And I'm seeing my old man deteriorate, like losing all his weight. I never knew he had ears that big, right? Because you don't.
They got exposed, right?
Yeah, I guess exposed, right? And I'm seeing this man that was, a hero to me.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
So, the father figure in my life, and I never saw him be weak. This is un machista. Este es un tipo machista because back in the day, los hombres eran machistas, you know. Oye, don't wash dishes. Eso de mujer. That's how my dad was, bro. My dad was, like I told you, he was in the military school in Venezuela, you know. He was a bad motherfucker, too. And I'm seeing him shrink. And at this point, November comes around. And I'll never forget this because he tells me, he told me one day that he picked me up and I had, with the whole chemo situation, he's like, you're a man now. You know what being a man is about. He tells me that. And all of a sudden, in November, I remember picking him up for the last time to take him to the bathroom. And he tells me, hijo, estoy jodido. I think that's one of the last things that he said to me. And I see the old man completely deteriorate. He passes away November 7th. So it's just right now. It's actually
Anniversary.
the anniversary. A couple of days ago, which I don't even keep track of that shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't keep track of it.
So he didn't last. He didn't last too many months after
He
they stopped the other chemo.
Yeah, I guess I don't focus on the death of it. You know, I don't. But you got to understand. All of a sudden now I'm 22. Not even 22. I'm going to be 22. My dad passes away November 7th. My birthday's November 18th. My sisters, I got 5 sisters, bro. And my mom, they're all done. Like, this is the patriarch of the family, you know, amongst his brothers, amongst, you know, my family.
Right. He was it. He was that dude.
He was him. He was the one you went to for all the advice. He was the one that you went to for anything. And now we lost him. So I got to be a man. I have this shit in me that I got to be the man. You know, I can't show my feelings or I can't cry about it. I got to be a man. And I'm just holding everything in, dog. You know, I'm trying to be supportive for my family. I'm trying to be supportive for me because I need it. I needed to feel like I was doing something, but I wasn't doing shit, man. I'm broken, you know? I'm broken because I realized that I didn't have opportunities to be, to have one-on-ones with my father. Mm-hmm. I'm broken because I realized that we didn't have the communication, that I will never have this. I'm broken because I'm seeing my sisters suffer, my mom suffer. And I'm broken because I feel that I didn't meet his standard. So a couple of months go by. We put him to rest. Everything happens. We cremated him, put him in the water. And I would say maybe 3-4 months later, 5 months later, I start having like this whole anger happening. And I finally have that breakdown. That breakdown after everybody cried.
Right.
And it was a tough one because, it was a tough one. I'm going to put it like this. And nobody knows what somebody with cancer is going through unless they're going through cancer.
Exactly.
Nobody knows how hard that person fought or didn't fight unless they're going through cancer themselves or have had that fight. Mm-hmm. So when somebody says, somebody that you love and that says about somebody else that you loved, they didn't fight hard enough, or they gave up, or I wish they would have done this. Listen, motherfucker, unless you've been in their shoes, you have no idea what's going through their mind or how hard they fought. Homie, I'm going to put it this way.
And by the way, even if they did decide to give up because they didn't want to fight any longer, that's their decision.
That's their choice.
That's fucking their decision. That's it. By the way, my dad did the same thing. He didn't want to fight anymore, and he said it.
Yeah.
He told my mom, he told his wife, he told the family, I wasn't living here, I was out of town, and he told them, I don't want to take no more meds, I don't want to do any more shit, let it happen, whatever. And it happened quick, fast, in a hurry. So
you got to let him go with honor, right?
Right.
So I'll tell you this, man. When I got sick, immediately, this fucked up, but I'm going to put it out there because people need to hear this. I planned in my head that the moment that they told me that if I couldn't beat this shit, I had already planned in my head what I was going to do, dog. I was going to get on my jet ski. I was going to fucking drive as far as this thing would take me with gas. And then I was going to grab a Glock.
Really?
I had planned it, dog. I had my Glock 17. I had that already in my mind because I was not going to let anybody see me go down like that. I was not going to let anyone see me be weak. I had that. It was in my mind. Because this fucks with you.
Right.
It's a mind fuck, man. And all this is happening, you know? I go in remission. Dad dies. I have this breakdown. And I'm going to tell you why I'm so angry. Because I start thinking, I'm like, Bobby, the first thing you say as a father when you see your son or your child that's going through something is, Lord, take me instead. I'm living with this, dog. I'm living with this whole sentiment that my dad just gave his life for me. And then I have this fucked up thing that, man, and I didn't make him proud enough. Because he was a strong dude. So now I'm living with this. So at that point, you know, I have my breakdown. I fought with the people that I loved, that I had to fight with, that I had to put out there. That's like, and I had to say what I had to say. And I'm just like pushing people that I love away, bro. Mm-hmm. And I don't realize that I'm pushing people that I love away. It wasn't clicking. Like everything that I was doing was pushing those that loved me away. And it was just because I couldn't deal with the fact that I let somebody down, that I can never make this up to them. And life will teach you. You know, sometimes we don't want to pick up that fucking phone, you know? And you don't know if you're going to have a chance to pick up that phone again, right? Or sometimes they want to have that conversation and you want to walk out that door because you don't want to have that conversation. You're like, damn, I'm never going to have the chance to have that conversation again. So to this day, I still learn new things about my dad because I never got to have those conversations as a man with him.
Right.
Right? Because at 21, tú eres un culo y cagao. You know? Let's face it. I graduated high school. How are teenagers? Teenagers don't really talk to their parents much. You got to like spoon feed them and get it out of them, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to, like, I got teens. I know how hard it is to have conversations, to have meaningful conversations. You know? And I was never around because I was in la jodedera.
Did you ever seek help in some shape or form, like therapy wise? I'm not saying you needed it, but I'm just asking, did you?
I didn't, brother, until much later in life. What I did do after sabotaging half the shit that I was doing, you know, and at this point, let's fast forward a couple of years. I get out of the military, you know, the focus of one of the main things with my parents was that I had to go to college, you know, that I had to fucking get a degree. My father told that in his deathbed to my sister, hey, make sure he goes and graduates, bro. And I'm not a school kid, bro. Right. I can't. I'm a smart motherfucker. But I can't sit down and be focused on a class. I can't do it. I tried it. It's not for me. So I get out of the military. I'm back here. I'm back home. And I'm looking for ways to make money. As soon as I get out, the first thing I do is, guess where I go, bro? I go to JR Electronics. I start working at JR on Burr Road. You know, sell car parts. I'm back into the car thing, right? Because I love the car situation. So I'm now selling car parts. And I'm in Monster. Back in the day, Monster was Indeed. You know, you're looking for a job. That's where you put your resume. And this guy reaches out to me. He's like, hey, man, I'm a veteran like you. You know, come work for me. I'm like, what do you mean work for you? He's like, yeah, man, I work for this pawn company, for pawn shops. I'm like, all right, bro. You know, what the fuck am I going to do at a pawn shop? That's ghetto. I'm not going to go to a pawn shop, you know? Keep trying to hustle and do my thing. And then he's like, he reaches out to me again. And he's like, come on, man, from one brother to another. Let's go. And he's like, you know, I'm like, what branch were you in? He's in the Navy. I'm like, oh, God, here. I got this seaman chasing me down, you know?
You go trying to start shit right now.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know, he's trying to get at me. He sends me. He's like, bro, come see my stores. He sends me to a store in Hialeah. It's called Value Pawn. I get to this Value Pawn, and all I see It's like, tres chamaquitas lindas. Right? Lindas. And, I'm fucking out there. I'm trying to eat everything, bro.
Right.
Fucking hungry. And I see this three chamaquitas. I'm like, all right, this is kind of cool. And he goes and he starts talking to me about the business. And I'm like, all right, but I'm still not sold. It's pretty. It's beautiful. All they do is like little jewelry loans. But there was nobody, bro. The place was empty. I leave. Hits me up again. He's like, what happened? He's like, bro, this is boring. I need something with more speed, And he'd say, bro, here, go to this store. Sends me an address of a store in Oakland Park. Ahora la cosa está caliente. I go to Oakland Park. Now there's a different type of store. See a pawn shop. And I see this pawn shop with tools, with electronics, with jewelry. But I see people, bro. I see Haitians. I see Dominicans, I see Jamaicans, And I'm like, man, I like the vibe. Yeah, I give it a chance. They made me a good offer to start working for them. The guy said, look, I'm going to look out for you. Come work for us as an assistant manager or whatever at this location. And he tells me the location. I don't know. I didn't put it together. Back then, you had to print out directions from your printer. Remember that?
Yeah,
there was no
of course.
GPS.
Right.
It's like I put the address, and I don't really pay attention to the address. And the address is 54-something 27th Avenue. And I'm like, I get to this shit. I'm like, oh, this is Liberty City, bro.
I was going to say Little Haiti.
We're in Brownsville, next to the Heat supermarket, bro, the mini mart. And I get there, and I'm like, man, this shit is ghetto. But I love it, bro. First thing happens that I walk into this place, and I get called a cracker. You fucking cracker. I'm like, so I'm coming out of the military where I'm being called a spick. And now I'm over here in Brownsville where I'm being called a cracker. I'm like, all right, here we go. This is going to be fun. And I'm not scared of anything, bro. So I'm ready. So I'm get there, and the first couple of weeks, I'm getting tried. Like, fuck you, Chico, you're a bitch. That kind of stuff. And mind you, like I said, I'm 5'6", bro. It doesn't take a lot to step on me,
Right.
But I'm going, we're not going down without a fight kind of thing, And I start dealing with people, and I start seeing jewelry, and I start understanding gold, and I'm like, this is a freaking gold mine. People are coming in every single day. They're bringing in their stuff, and I'm seeing everything from Rolexes to G-Shocks, from tools to motorcycles. And I'm like, I'm liking this, bro. At that point, I start seeing that there's money being taken out of that business. I start seeing that there's opportunity here, and we're losing money because people are stealing from us, number one. So our own employees are stealing from us. Then I realized that the business has the opportunity to make more money because it's all interest-based. It's like, okay, how do we collect more interest? But how do we limit the loss? And I started learning, and I started applying what I already know about business because I've always been a go-getter and a hustler. And I started applying it to this, and all of a sudden we get this store. I identify the people that are stealing. We set them up. And, we take them out of the store. We take them out of the business. We bring in the new people. Now, under my leadership, and the store starts banking, bro. Banking. So we're taking this little store that's right there on 27th Avenue in the hood, where I'm seeing all kinds of stuff. Like, I'm seeing people pull out knives out of cornflake boxes, to stab somebody over a lawnmower. All right? This is the store. I don't know if you remember a couple of, we're talking about, this was 2007. There was a football player that had gotten stabbed, or he had gotten shot at a party at his house. Somebody had broken in after a party. He was a UM football player.
How long ago was this? You're talking about Taylor, Sean Taylor?
Sean Taylor.
Yeah, of course, when he got killed. Yeah.
There you go.
Those two dudes.
So the guy that shot him, his cousin pawned the bracelet at that store.
Oh, Lord.
And back then it was a Cuban link bracelet that was, it had green and orange diamonds in it. Back then, this was like one of a kind, So detectives found out, they saw it, they caught the guys, they took the guys in. So this is, I'm telling you, está caliente. Every single Monday that I go into this place, it's like I had to go around because there had been a shooting next door. but I love the place. I love the hood.
So how many years were you with this pawn shop organization?
And I was there for a hot minute. I was there from '07 to 2012, and then I went to the sister company until 2020.
Sister company owned by the same owners or competition?
So in 2012, they sold to a different company, and I left. And so the money that Value Pawn got, they started something called La Familia Pawn. So once they opened up La Familia Pawn, a year after they opened it, I jumped ship and I went to La Familia. You know, I had gone from Brownsville to run a shop in Little Haiti, you know, and I go from Little Haiti to now I'm on 79th Street. I'm getting known on 79th Street. And that's where I start focusing on the whole, you know, giving back. It starts getting big, giving back to the community. And then I start realizing little by little that is like I keep putting myself in danger in different situations in the pawn business, you know, because the pawn business is hard, bro, especially in those neighborhoods. It's hard. You know, you're putting yourself into situations every single day. You know, we have people stealing, obviously, and now I'm gun-ho, so they're chasing people down 79th Street. I'm chasing people down on 27. I'm chasing people down on 110th. You know, I'm doing things that because I take ownership of everything that I do.
And you're just a manager right now at this
At
point.
this point, at that point, I was you know, I went from an assistant manager to a manager to a district manager.
Right.
So I got to the position all the way. I'll tell you this crazy shit. I got all the way to becoming director of operations of the company. And I gave up that position because I felt that the company didn't have my back. You know, we were traveling to Puerto Rico training people, here in Florida training people, you know, have all these stores underneath you, and then have this opportunity to become director of operations of the company. And that meant that I had to move to Orlando, to where the headquarters were. And I ended up passing on that opportunity as it was being offered to me because I didn't like the way corporate was treating the people, our employees, and the clientele.
At this point, have you even contemplated yet of opening your own place, or were you just thinking it just wasn't doable at the time because of finances?
So I had run into a location that I thought was an amazing opportunity, and I had brought it up to you know,
One of the owners,
the CEOs, and they're like, "Yeah, this is a match. This is not for us. This is not the way we do business." You know, but I believe so much into it. I had told them, I'm like, you know, if I had the money, I would do it myself. And he just told me plain and simple, you know, under his breath, he's like, if you had the money. And I'm like, this motherfucker just lit a fire underneath me.
That was it.
You got to understand. You just lit a fire. At that point, I already had Studio 305. I don't know, you know, anybody out there that knows Studio 305 in Kendall, right behind, you know, Black Sheep, right here. You know, Studio 305 is the banquet hall that we've had since 2014, you know, and I've been throwing parties there and emceeing for a very long time, you know, and that's just part of what I do. In fact, I MC some of the events for the Bearded Villains. I know you know those guys.
Right, of course.
You know?
Yeah, we'll talk about them soon.
Yeah. So they're amazing people. And, you know, so I already had businesses. Now, this guy tells me this about this story. He's like, oh, if you had the money, blah, blah. And now this whole thing is lit inside of me. I'm like, this next opportunity that comes, I'm taking it, brother. And I put the word out there. Start putting the word out there. So I put the word out there. West Miami comes on the radar. That was in 2019. I went, I looked at it. I called the guy. It was fucking horrible. He tells me the price. And I just, I took it. Didn't think twice. I took money out of my 401k. And I just made it happen.
And this was official in 220 or 219?
This was in 2018, December 2018. I signed the paperwork for West Miami, and I opened January 2nd, 2019. Mind you, these people don't know. These people don't know.
And you never signed in what's it
I
called?
don't have a non-compete.
Right,
I never
non-compete.
signed a non-compete. Fuck non-competes. Nobody out there ever signed a non-compete.
Right.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Number one, non-competes in Florida are bullshit. But don't ever sign a non-compete. Nobody should ever tie you down to anything. You know, listen, you're getting married. You probably shouldn't even sign that shit. But, you know.
Facts.
Yeah,
Facts. If you've been listening to the podcast long enough, you know how I feel about the whole marriage thing, man.
Man, marriage is tough, bro.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into that. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but I need to remind you guys just how fucking awesome you are. This podcast is hitting its 5th year, and we are celebrating by shouting you guys out. Thank you so much for showing all the love and support that you've been doing so for so long, and let's continue it. I mean, so, you know, on that note, there's so many things that you learn when you go through these, you know, trials and tribulations, and opening a business is so many things that can happen. And obviously I want to get into it, like how what kind of effect did it have, you know, on the family, you know, being so busy, opening up, being an entrepreneur, but also being in your line of work, you're dealing with a lot of wild people who are going through some shit, you know, want to pawn stuff because it's a emergency situation, maybe they can be drugged out, or somebody, you know, wild request for doing some crazy stuff with jewelry that you're just like, God, you're gonna do that to that jewelry, like really that good piece of art. But yeah, you know, there's a lot that goes with it, and definitely I would like to, you know, I definitely know that people out there would definitely like to know some. You know, we've all seen Pawn Stars on TV, you know. There's been several. I remember when Yuli was a security guard for that quick
Cash Dome.
Cash Dome, yeah, there you go, Cash Dome with White Boy. White Boy, yeah, you know, they had a little run there and whatever. So, you know, a lot of us have seen stuff through the pawns, you know, through TV, unless you ever been to a pawn store, and if you have, how long were you there where you can see some action? But you guys really see some shit, man.
You know what it is, bro, and there's a lot to it. Not just what you see of the drama on the shows, right? But there's things that you do. You can make somebody's day. You know, you can help people out. I've had moms come in that, you know, their baby daddy left, right? And they got to figure out what to do with their kids. Right. You know, they got to how to feed them, what to do, you know, so you help them out. I've bought from my own pocket, you know, diapers, formula. Sometimes I've had people come in and pawn something that was worth $5, and I give them $500, $1,000. Just to look out, right? Because I knew who they were, and I pawned on their word and the person who they are, and not on the product. You know, I've also had people that walk in and I know they're gonna go and spend this on crack. You know, so this business teaches you to read people, and you get really good at it, bro. Really, really, really good at it. So even if a crackhead came in there, you know it's fucking Billy Bob the crackhead. And here he comes in looking like he ain't showered or done anything in days, but he's got a gold chain and it's legit. Mm-hmm. You're going to still give him his money. He's got it. You're not going to try to say, Billy, I know you stole that shit. So here's the deal, bro. Here's the deal. Number one, I focus on being transparent and treating everybody the same way. Me. I've been doing this since 2007. We're talking about we're in 2025, right? We're about to be in 2026. The way I run my business now, it's not the way that things were when I first started in this business. Of course. It's not how I was taught. It's not, you know, I'm a people person. I'm a community guy. I do unto others as I want them to do unto me. Right. Period. You know, I pride myself on being good. So I'm going to treat him the same way I'm going to treat anybody else. And I'm going to be fair with my offer, regardless of what it is, where he came from. I'm going to follow the law. I'm going to do it right. I'm going to make sure that he gets paid well for whatever he's bringing me, you know, within the spectrum. And that if it's stolen, it's reported the right way to the police. So if it is stolen, the police can come and get it. Right. But honestly, like in that type of scenario, how would you know that it's stolen? I mean, if Billy comes in with a gold chain, that's his business. So I'm going to ask you, hey, Billy, what's up, bro? Where'd you get this chain at? He's like, bro, that's my chain. I've had it forever. My mom gave me that shit when I was 15 years old. You know, I kept it. I'm cracked out of my fucking mind right now, and I'm going to pawn it. But guess what? My mom's probably going to come get it, you know? Or I'm going to ask him, hey, is this really yours? And if he tells me yes, I did my job. Right. There you go. That's it.
Okay.
You know, I'm not a detective.
Right.
My job is to grab that shit. If the detective comes and says, "Hey, knock knock, Billy Bob, he pawned that chain and it was stolen," that's the detective's job.
Right.
You know, period. My job is to, hey, is yours? Yes. Okay, let's keep going. I'm gonna grab your ID. I'm gonna do my job. You know, that's as simple as it gets. You know, I'm gonna ask my questions. If I don't feel comfortable, I'm gonna give you the stuff back. I'm gonna tell you, look, bro, that's not for me. And I've done that millions of times. And I will continue to do it because I'm not greedy, bro. Nothing about me is with greed. There's a lot of businesses out there, a lot of corporations that operate on how cheap can I get it. I'm not like that.
Let me ask you this, Jose. I've been seeing things lately, and I guess one can infer. That means educated guess for all you motherfuckers who don't know. I just try to sound smart right there. One can infer that gold is always going to be one of the most important things you can have because it's actually solid,
Yeah.
real, in your hand,
So
value,
so
not credit, not anything like that.
correct.
Are you? Does that not make you want to hold on to some of your gold a little bit more just in case X, Y, and Z happens? We're going into cryptocurrency, or you have the downfalls of other nations. Does that make you want to hold on to it more? Or
I don't want to hold.
you don't
on
think
to
we're anywhere
anything.
near right now?
Me, I don't want to hold on to anything. I want to fucking make money and flip it and make money and flip it and make more money and flip it and buy properties, pay it off, and at the end of the day, as long as the business, the building is paid, we're good. House is paid, we're good. I'm not promised tomorrow, bro.
Right.
And I want my kids to earn it each and every step of the way. So guess what? We're going to get it. We're going to flip it. We're going to get some more. We're going to flip it. We're going to get some more. We're going to flip it.
Now, as a business owner and business owner, hustler, been involved with all kind of businesses. Now you just have a way bigger, and now you have a second one. Takes a toll. There's a lot of demands there, and I've had multiple business owners here, and I love to pick their brains apart in regards to, what are some of the things that they would advise people, even if it doesn't have to be in the pawn shop or jewelry business, but just, opening the business and knowing what it takes, You said that it had a toll with you and your wife, and, and it played a certain role, and I would assume it might have also played a certain role with how often you could have been there for some of your kids or whatever. What are some of those things that you take back from that and something that you would suggest for others to, look for?
So I will tell you this, brother. So it's this simple. Running businesses takes time. Running successful businesses takes time. Any project takes time. And you're going to get back what you put into it, correct?
Right.
So for anybody out there that's working for a corporation, you're putting in your time for them. Keep that shit in mind. You're not putting in that time for you, period. Because they will replace you quickly. And your family will suffer because you weren't there. You don't get that time back, man. Mm-hmm. As a father, I made time. I'm going to tell you why I made time. Because I told you a little while ago that I felt like me and my dad didn't have that.
Right.
My dad, when he had me, he was in his 40s. I was the last one of 6 kids. So he didn't have, I was a boy. He kept trying to have a boy. And he finally had his boy. And at that point, he's older. So I didn't get the baseball. I didn't get the soccer. I didn't get all that shit. My dad was in business too. We were immigrating to another country. He kept going back and forth. I didn't have that with my dad. So as a father, I made sure to make time. As a man, it's different. As a husband, it's different. So I was not always there. Mm-hmm. We have this fucked up reality. We think that being a provider makes you a good husband.
Right.
Being a provider makes you a good provider, bro. Being a husband, right, is providing, is loving, is being a safety, right? A protector, right? Is being a counselor, right? And is being, I don't know if I said it, a lover, right? I said that or no?
No, I don't think not lover.
Yeah. So it's all together, bro.
Right.
A lot of men out there think that because they make fucking money, oh, I'm a provider, I'm a great guy. You're not a great guy. You can pay the FPL bill. But did you listen to her? Right? Oh, I'm a great dad. Great. You went to all the baseball games. That's awesome. You know, what about the time with her? Did you give her that support? You know, did you listen to her? I didn't do that a lot. I had to hit the wall a couple of times.
But okay, and I love that you said that. You said that you had to hit the wall. I'm always saying this to people, and I say it on the podcast too. You got to let people hit the wall and find shit out on their own, because 9 times out of 10, it's unfortunate. You could spit all the fire advice that you want. That person is going to have to find out on their own. They can take things into consideration, but they're going to have to find on their own. So you hit the wall and you kind of fixed it. Where people fuck up is when they don't fix things. You know, I'm 48, and I look back and I think, damn, my mom had my brother when she was 21. Fuck, that's young. If I had a daughter, I would tell her, baby, don't have a fucking kid until you're 30. I want you to live it up, not live it up like Wild Out. I need you to mature and find out what your career is going to be and what is you like and dislike, and all, because we're still developing. We're still figuring shit out. So that's running into certain walls in order to figure stuff out, is those who don't fix those things. At least you look back and you see, one, okay, I don't want that to happen with my kids, so I'm going to fix that because it kind of happened with my dad. Two, okay, I bumped into this wall with my wifey, which, by the way, this was your second wife, you know. But the first one, there wasn't issues because of the business, though, right? That was something personal.
No. So, I said that I've had 3 wives, right?
Whoa. Okay.
So, I'm on my 3rd one at this point, and the first wife, there was no paper sign, but she was still wife. You know, she's the mother of one of my kids. She's a good friend of mine, and definitely our relationship suffered because of business. You know,
so that was one of those. Yeah,
100%. Okay. I'm dedicating over 50, 55, 60 hours into a business. You know, so I'm coming home. I'm a provider, right? I'm a good dad, but was I a good man to her? What's gonna happen if you lack on being a good man to your woman? What do you think is gonna happen?
She's gonna look for it somewhere else.
She's gonna be another fucking guy. It's gonna be a good man. All of a sudden, come here, work wife. Déjame pasarte la mano, mami. You know, it's gonna happen, brother. You know, and you say something there. You're gonna your daughter and this, but we're examples for our children. Whatever we do, they're gonna learn and they're gonna see it and they're gonna mimic it. You know, my dad used to work his ass off. My mom used to work her ass off. So I work my ass off.
That's right.
Right? I don't remember seeing my dad be a romantic dude. I don't remember my dad being super dad with me. You know, he was a strong man. He was a leader, you know, but I don't remember that. So these are things that I'm adding into my family, incorporating into my family, but I still have my issues, right? I still have my problems. And becoming, I'm a workaholic. A lot of successful guys are workaholics.
Right.
You know, I'm a fucking workaholic.
Don't just say guys, and we're going to get backlash from the women. A lot of successful
when I say
people.
Guys, I mean everybody. All 37 fucking genders out there. You know, whatever. Guys, you know, let's be real. Whoever's listening to this, you know.
Most people who are very successful on with businesses, a lot of times they're workaholics, is what you're alluding to. Yes,
this is your baby.
Right.
You're raising a baby. A business is a baby. You know, you go into a business and it's like, if I do good, blah blah. No, motherfucker, you son. If you do good, that should not be an option. You will do good. You know, I'm gonna be successful. I'm gonna be the best. Period. There's no options there, right? But when you do that, you sacrifice things. And I sacrificed relationships for a long time. I sacrificed my first one. I sacrificed my second one. You know, my second wife, brother, I was opening Studio 305, you know, working a la familia, you know, try to do everything else as being a dad, hustling here, trying to make ends meet, you know, because Miami, let's face it, you gotta have multiple incomes in Miami.
Right.
You know. So what ended up happening? That went to shit. Because, yes, I was a provider. Yes, I was a father. And now I'm getting better, you know. I'm always been a protector. That was never even an issue, you know. That part of being that person you can speak to, that person that's a friend, you know. Because we think, oh, he's a lover. Great. but am I the one that you can confide in? Am I that best friend that you need to have, right? Because that's important. And then we kind of like sweep that shit under the table and we say, but I have everything else. No. To be successful in that relationship, everything has to align, you know?
Too often people try to overlook some of these things, thinking that it won't be that big of a deal. And then it sticks its ugly head later on in the future. And then what they do is they find themselves already in a position where like, fuck, well, I already got here. Might as well just deal with it. We already got this together, that together. Fuck it. I thought overlooking it was going to be, but now here we are.
Well, one of the toughest things is like, look, when you're a tough, person, when you're a tough guy, right? We're not talking about guys, but men, women. When you can face adversity, we just spoke about that, right, and you can handle it, you think everybody can handle it. And you don't realize that everybody's mental health is different and that everybody's attitude towards issues is different. I felt that I'm real quick to get over shit. We're going to give it,
Same here.
We're going to give it a little bit of time, right. Pop, get your shit together, let's move on. That's how it is. Mm-hmm. But not everybody's like that. Some people need a little bit longer to analyze it. Some people need to be helped to get over that hump, Shit, I told you about what happened with my dad. And now, why I focus on being a better dad, because I don't want to leave that, on that stone unturned.
Speaking of that, we spoke about how different your kids are.
Yeah.
And, I've talked to, multiple people that were here. Joaquin, he's a business owner of Jealous Fork. And we were talking. I asked him, I said, hey, man, must be a pain in the ass having to hire these youngsters nowadays because they're so fragile. They're so emotionally driven. They're so, just addicted to the phone. So the social skills are at a minimum. And, we had a deep conversation about that. And, well, here you are. You're dealing with those same categories, kids, because of all it spreads out. Mikey is 18.
18.
JJ is 16. Just got his license, too. Yeah. Good for JJ.
Chris is 13.
13.
Mm-hmm. And then Vicky, she's 22. And then Lily's 26.
So different ages, different eras.
Right. And you're missing the one that lives in Fort Myers with his mom, Adrian, who's also 18. So, and they're all different. 2 18-year-olds are different, right? So I have a 13-year-old who's completely different than all the other ones. So, and we've all grown. I've tried to do the same thing. Right.
You try to give them the same universal love, same universal parameters of, and it's still.
Yeah. And the motivation is different too, You talk about the hiring and the youth and the work effort and everything that they have. We talk about tough times make tough people, right, and soft times make soft people. It's like I hire, at least when I hire a lot of immigrants. I hire people that just my girls, my crew in West Miami. It's all Dominican and Cubans, and they're extremely hard workers, Everybody's got papers, people.
Yeah. Chill out, Ice. Chill out, Ice.
Vete para la casa, Ice. All right. So, but that's how it is, 26, Lily, she's a hustler. She's my oldest. She's amazing. So she's adopted. So that was just it's crazy because you got to understand something when you bring a kid into your family, it's different than when you have a kid. You have a kid, that's your kid. You got to take care of your kid.
Right.
When you adopt a kid, you're taking care of a kid that you chose to love. It's tough. So it's like it's beautiful. It's like I love you, motherfucker, because hey, I don't have to. You know what I'm saying? That's where it comes down to.
Right.
It's like I want to be that father. I've always wanted that, and even to this day, I still want to have more kids.
Oh my God, you're
not going to.
You're talking about crackheads like we were earlier. Jesus, that's some crackhead shit there. Hey. I remember I told you when we met a week ago, and I'm not gonna put his business out there out of respect, but Mikey, me and Mikey had that, that long one-to-one talk about, certain situation and, how he's handling it and what's going through his head. And when I told somebody about this story, I told him, I literally told Mikey this. I said, Mikey, because he asked for my advice.
Yeah.
And I said, Mikey, listen, I want you to understand what I'm about to say right now is going to come off kind of like weird and tough. And maybe you're like, what the fuck? But just hear me out. Right now, you're inviting me to a place that I'm not sure you're ready for. He's like, what do you mean, coach? And I'm like, you're asking for my advice. And you're asking for my advice on some serious shit, you know, some really heart-to-heart stuff that we're talking right now. And this is difficult for me because I got to remind myself, but I don't like doing this, that, you're 18, you're a different era. I got to say the right things. And, the truth is, Mikey, whatever I'm going to tell you, if this is where we're going to go, whatever I'm going to tell you, respectfully, I know you're not going to do anything of it. None of it. I know, not disrespectfully, but I know you're going to wipe your ass with it. I know it's going to go in through one ear, not the other. I know deep down inside, whatever it is you're going to do, you already have your mind made up. You're just hoping I tell you what you hope to hear. So since we're going to cross this line, I love it because I got mad love for you. I don't know how you look at me as an older brother, an uncle, whatever, but I'm your coach and I'm here for you. We've had many deep conversations, but this is part of life. You need to be ready for motherfuckers like me who don't bite their tongue, who are very transparent, and I'm going to tell you shit that you're not going to want to hear. So if this is where we're going to go, make sure, and then we did, and I did my part and whatever. And then I think about people like you because I'm like, damn, that's his dad, but not his real dad, but it's his dad, because I know Mikey loves the hell out of you, and we've had many conversations about you. Yeah. And I would be on your side about certain things because it'd be like, man, Coach Jose's tripping, man. He this, that, and that. And I'm like, nah, he ain't tripping. What did you do wrong?
Right.
Bro, something petty, man, but he tripping, man. He's talking about, this. I go, no. Give me the details of what you did wrong. And he'll tell me. And I'm like, didn't you just do something like that a week ago and then 2 weeks before that? And I'm like, you don't think he's tired of your shit?
Yeah.
If he doesn't make it, take it to the next level, you're going to keep doing what fucking punk-ass teenagers do. I was like, nah, Mikey, So I double down. I help you out, but then I just think, man, that ain't easy.
So it comes down to this, right? As parents, and this is for everybody, as parents, at the end of the day, it's like this. You can only do so much, and then your job is to make sure that whoever else is around your kids, it's good for them. Like, you're good for my kids.
Right. Oh, thank you.
That there's a reason why they're here. The church that I go to is good for my kids. That's why I'm there. The people that I allow around my children, their extracurricular activities, are people that I can vouch for. Right? So that's your job.
Right.
Because my sons need other bad motherfuckers around them to become bad motherfuckers. At the end of the day. Mm-hmm. To become real men. Somebody that, your girls out there want to marry my kids. That's my job. I want to make sure that the women out there that have their moms and they have their daughters are going to say, man, I want my daughter to marry his son.
Right.
Or his daughter or whatever.
Yeah.
That's my job, to put good people out into society. Amazing people who are loved and who are going to love back, right? But they're going to make mistakes. But you planted a seed. So you say, yeah, he's going to wipe his ass with what you said. But you planted a seed. And that's super important because that seed is going to be watered by me. Now that seed is going to be watered by the pastor. That seed is going to be watered by whoever else is surrounding him that's good for him.
Right.
Well, that's our job. We can't fight their battles. We can give them the advice. That's okay. So, yes, you might say that he might wipe his ass with it, but he might wipe his ass with it this time. Mm-hmm. But maybe down the line, what you say to him and helps mold the future and those decisions. And we all learn by the mistakes that we make.
Right.
I'm on wife number 3. I told you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, I've learned a lot of shit.
Right.
I'm like, I talk now. I have conversations. I don't close myself out. I don't tell you, "Estás loca." I don't do that no more. I have conversations. I apologize. I'm real quick to apologize and man up about my shit.
That's great.
And now I'm real quick to talk and say, hey, this is how I feel. Because as men, sometimes, very often, we get shut down for our feelings. We get pushed back, and you gotta
for opening up too much.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's like look, don't be a bitch. You're a fucking man. There's certain things that you gotta be able to handle.
Right.
But and there's a difference between crying about it and voicing your opinion and saying, hey, this is what's happening, and this is how you're making me feel. But if you're waiting until it's too late to say that, papo, se te va a ir, lo vas a perder, you're gonna lose it. It's that simple. And that's with everything. You got to speak. You got to say, hey, put yourself out there. It's not taking those lashings every single time. You can't just be taking lashings.
Right.
You know, you got to put your foot down and say, hey, I need some help. Wait, I'm feeling this certain way. And I do this with my wife often. You know, whenever something's happening, I communicate now because I want this one to be it. You know, I want this woman to be the woman that, hey, cuando estoy viejito, que me esté limpiando el culo, I want her to be the one limpiando el culo, and I'm going to be limpiando el culo de ella.
Right.
That's how it's going to come down.
Do you got homeboys you still kick it with here and there?
Yeah,
or
of
are you a little bit too? No, I'm just saying because you might be too tied up with family business and everything.
Well,
you
know,
got time,
you know, it's at the end of the day, everybody needs their time, you know, and it's not like before that every single, you know, chance that I get, I was out, you know. I'll tell you like this. I think last week or it was like 2 weeks ago, we were out at the Mikosuke Golf with the Bearded Villains, you know, with the guys. Hung out with the guys for a while, blah, blah. Those are amazing guys that I hang out with, you know, kick it with them, you know. Then I have my business partners that I mess around with, you know, the ones that were the jewelers. I go play pickleball on Thursdays. Brother, that fucking pickleball thing is fun. Not only is it fun, but it's a chance to talk shit amongst men.
There you go, right.
It's a chance for that brotherhood, you know.
Right.
You need that. You need that, guys. You can't just be, you know, every day con la mujer. You know, you got to let that woman breathe. And she's got to let me breathe. You know, I go to Lifetime in the Gables. You know, I go see my trainer. Brother, when I'm with my trainer in the Gables, you know, I don't go to the falls where you're at. I wish I could, but it's so far. But I'm there, and shout out to Francisco. And it's like, bro, he's like fucking therapy.
Right.
You know, this guy makes me do some fucked up shit, but it's like therapy, bro.
Of course.
You know, it's good. It's that there's a brotherhood there, you know? So it's like that's important, you know? You have to have it.
It seems like your experience has just given you the format, the formula. It's giving you the blueprint. And I know it sounds crazy when you say, "Oh, you've been married 3 times." It sounds bad, but that's not a bad thing. Okay, you have to go through certain experiences in order to be where you're at, you know. And now this third one is amazing because you knew what went wrong those first 2 times.
Well,
you
of
know?
course, that's how it is, brother.
Right,
you
right.
Know, you have to. You know, you're a fighter, bro. You know.
Yeah. But people have problem getting the balance part, and obviously, you got push and pull depending on who it is. You got people who are a little too jealous and too possessive, and they don't want to allow that. But the truth is, everybody needs that little alone time, that little with their friends time, that little whatever, you know, does it for you. Your passion, fishing, working out, fucking shooting gun, whatever the hell it is,
so
you need that.
Jealousy is weakness. A jealous man is weak. I got to tell you that. Because you don't own anybody. You can't be jealous.
Right.
You don't own anybody. So you got to give everybody their time. And that's super important. You got to love yourself a little bit more than you love anybody else, bro. Because if something were to happen, you got to be able to pick yourself up. And that jealousy part has got to go.
What's up, folks? Sorry to interrupt this podcast, but I had to take my time to remind you guys just how awesome you are. Thank you for continuously to show so much support throughout these 5 years of us doing what we do. Truly appreciate it. And if you do too, please don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the content, hit that thumbs up. Matter of fact, if you want to show a little bit of extra love, how about you send this link to a friend? Truly appreciate all the support. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah, Jose, man, it's amazing to look back and think that this business ventures of yours that you've gone on, and you know, West Miami Jewelry, has done so much for you in so many different ways. You know, it's taught you so much. It's put your family through the ringer, but it's also made you strong. You guys stronger, more loving, more united. You've met amazing people. You've networked with so many people, like the Bearded Villains. We talked about them.
Right.
You know, what a great group of guys and what they do, right? You know, how long you been fucking with them for?
I want to say since 2020. So we're going on 5 years now that we've had a pretty good relationship. You know, I'm their jeweler. Danny's amazing. You know,
Shout out to Prez, Danny.
Yeah, he's good people, and everybody else there is great, man. You know, I think that every single one of those guys has a heart of gold.
Right.
You know, they have a good mission, and any way, shape, or form that I could help out, I'm there. I wish I had the time to dedicate it to be even deeper in there.
Right.
But with everything that happens and everything that I do have on my plate already, I tend to help from outside, the circle. But I'm always present, and I feel welcome every single time. All the events that we've done together, and every time they call upon me, I'm there for them because I believe in them. I believe in that mission that they have.
It's awesome how the right people bring you to the right people. We mentioned Yuli, Ulysses, for those of you guys who don't, Yuli Diaz, aka the Monster.
Yeah.
Local celebrity here in Miami. He's one of the realest ones. He's somebody that I know. People, me and Yuli never told our story that deep, because we were both very involved still. We were both doing our dirt. I was hustling and he was hustling, and he had two or three different things that he was doing and working with, and I was working with 2 or 3 different products, and we would meet up. And anyhow, even though we were both still in the crime world and doing stupid shit, we both wanted out. And I knew Yuli had a great heart because we would hang out, after selling each other something or exchanging something. We would hang out and we'll talk about how we want to get out of this, man. And we got to do the right things, man. And what's the next move, bro? And this, how's the family, and this, it's one of those things where people like he and I, we just put ourselves in predicaments where we're trying to, crawl out of this hole. But I always knew he was a great dude, and he's always been. And then look, he ends up being somebody really close with you.
Yeah, man.
How'd that come about?
Brother, so Yuli's amazing. I've been following him for a while. I like the fights. I like the MMA stuff. So it just so happens that we know a lot of the same people. And the same way, like we know a lot of the same people, man.
Right.
So Kendall's small. Miami's small, but Kendall's even smaller.
Right.
El Sahuet. That's how I feel. It's like La Cuarenta. Everybody knows everybody. And it was like that. He knew people that I know people, and then we started chatting, and it kicked off. I supported him, he supported me, and we keep going the same way. And that doesn't stop. There's a lot of love there.
You made an amazing piece for him.
The Kimbo Slice Fist.
Yes, a tribute, bro.
So that was one of my favorite pieces that I've made. That's solid gold right there. It's a beautiful piece. It spins. It's got the Monster logo on there. We made it. We personalized it for him, and that goes on one of his beautiful chains that he's gotten from me as well. And his wife's engagement ring. His engagement ring. And listen, to make a ring for Yuli, you got to make a tough, beautiful ring. It's got to be strong, and that thing is flawless. It's amazing, And I'm just glad that so many people trust me, bro. Like we've built such a community. West Miami is huge, and West Miami jewelry is huge. Not West Miami. The city of West Miami is like 2 miles by 2 miles, but West Miami jewelry is huge, man. Like we have so much support. People show so much love, bro. Lazarito Barbershop, Lazarito's amazing. He's a great guy. He's always, hey, Jose, we got to do something together. Lazarito, we got to get together. But it's like, even from there, from Hialeah, from everywhere, from West Palm, I get love, from the Keys, everybody's coming out here. And it's like, I so much support, and it's amazing. It's a beautiful thing, bro, because Miami needs that. We need to support each other. We need to support the small businesses. And I say that all the time. Listen, if you're going to buy jewelry, don't buy it from Jared's. Don't buy it from a corporation. Go buy it from a small business. Whether it's me or any other small jewelry store, go buy it from them. We need it. This is it. This is what takes, this is what keeps our kids in sports and pays for our homes. And this is it. Stop paying and supporting a corporation, man.
And, piggybacking what you're saying, that's huge, especially when in this city, right now, little by little, I'm not trying to say this in a negative way, but little by little, we're getting pushed out by.
Oh, we're getting phased out.
We're getting pushed out by all the elitists, the rich people who've been coming from Cali and from New York, but now they're coming in different ways because Cali's at its fucking worst. New York just got this new mayor. They're about to go ape shit with I think he's going to do free, I don't know, whatever. They're coming over here. They're trying to open up their business. So we really do got to support locally. We really do got to help each other out. And it's wild that Miami, I guess, I know it happens amongst all big cities and it's an ego-driven, type thing. But, man, we're at the top of that shit where we feel like everything is so competitive here in Miami. Yeah. Who can outdo who's this and that, and who can outshine who. And it's ridiculous when really we should be doing the opposite, man. Right. We really need to help each other out.
So Miami is little Dubai now, bro.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's little Dubai. If you look at it, and it's like, at the end of the day, there's business for everybody.
Right. Everybody can eat.
I'm not going to tell you that there's not. I will tell you this. If you're looking for amazing service, if you're looking, because I pride myself in that, the customer service has to be the best. You're going to get it with us. You know, one of the biggest issues that I've had in the jewelry business is when you walk into a jewelry store and you get sized up and down. I've been fucking sized up and down my whole life. You know, I came up in a business that is predominantly Jewish. You know, right? White boys, white men, older, you know, that's their business. And I'm a kid from Venezuela with tattoos and a beard and no hair, right? I got the Miami thing going on. That's what it is. So it's like you're looked at differently immediately. You know, you walk into my shop, I don't care what you're wearing. I don't care who you are. I don't care what's happening. I'm going to treat you the same way. Te voy a ofrecer cafecito, right? We're going to kick it. I'm probably going to make a joke, you know, and you're going to have a good time. What you see on Instagram, that's what you see in real life. That's who I am. There's no sugarcoating in here. I'm not fake, bro. You know, I'm not going to, you know, lead you the wrong way. I'm telling you, visit us, you're going to be okay. But I'm also going to tell you that if you don't want to visit us, visit a small business. That's where it's at, you know. But I pride myself in customer service. That's 100% the main thing for me. Having the right team and amazing customer service is key.
Is there anything you guys don't do when it comes to like requests for different necklaces, medallions, fucking, I don't know.
You know, seldomly I'll say no to something. You know, you know, I mean, I'll tell you something. We do a lot of body chains for women.
Okay.
You know, like, you know, to tie different parts of bodies parts together.
Yeah.
You know, you can put that together however you want.
Right.
You know, whatever piercings you guys have, you know, there's a lot of crazy things that happen that we'll make for you, you know. There's certain things that I won't make for you. I had mentioned to you, like, I had somebody come and they wanted un Santa Muerte, and that was just not me, you know. I'm not your guy for that, you know. I'm your guy for everything else, but that one I won't touch. You know, there's certain things that just go against my beliefs and against who I am, you know. And I think that you have to have a certain boundary, you know. I have no problem saying no to somebody, especially like if you come at me with a budget that is it doesn't make sense. I'm gonna tell you, listen, I can't do that. You know, you're gonna have to pay. You're gonna have to pay to play. Number one, to do it right, because I don't want to do it wrong. And that's the main thing with me. It's like I want to do it right, because I don't want you going somewhere else and say, oh, West Miami did this. No. I want you going somewhere else and saying West Miami did that, and me being proud that I did that, right? So if you, like, for example, you bring me something to repair, and you want me to repair it, and I told you, look, that's not doable, you know? Oh, but I know you can do it. You do it cheap. No. I'm either going to do it the right way or I'm not going to do it. And same thing with pieces. I'm either going to do the right piece or I'm not going to do it. I don't need to do everything. I don't need to. Nobody needs to. There's plenty of other guys that will do it, but I don't need to, you know?
What do you use for black? I was telling your son, man, I was like, I want the logo as a charm, but what would you do with black? What would black be? It'd be a certain gem, a certain jewel.
So black could be black diamonds. You know, we could do black diamonds.
Yeah, that's fucking.
Yeah. So Danny's piece for VV305, that was black diamonds and white diamonds. You know, we could do black enamel. Like my West Miami piece has green enamel on it. We can do enamel. You know, so I will tell you this, and anybody out there that's trying to get a logo piece, you know, I know you're committed to your brand. How committed? How much money you want to spend on your brand? It's number one, because a lot of people want to do their brand and they're like, oh, how much money is this? Well, some things are going to cost you. We did Ruby Star Garage, and we did theirs in enamel. Beautiful piece, solid gold, enameled, you know? So it's like, but are you going to wear this every single day? Do you want to go completely iced out where it's going to put you in the $10,000, $15,000 range, you know, or even more? Or do you want to go into an enamel piece where it's going to put you into maybe $5,000 range, you know, somewhere there, you know? It depends on what we make you. But there's always an option. Everything has an option, you know, and we can always make something happen.
And you get everything you need. You get it from what? From different countries, that all these.
So a lot of things have changed. A lot of things have changed in the last couple of months because of tariffs.
Oh, that's right.
A lot of things have changed, you know, so we're bringing in different pieces through different countries in order to, you know, work with that and still keep the right price for the consumer. I'm not going to tell you my secrets, you know, of course, the trade. Of course. There's certain things that we're going to keep. But I will tell you that we'll figure out a way to make it happen for you. You know, so you don't have to worry about that part. just know that we can source the diamonds. We can source natural. We can source lab diamonds. We can do it in 10 karat. We can do it in 14. We can do it in 18. We can do anything that you want, as long as your pockets are ready. You know, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Gold is not cheap anymore. Gold's
Right,
not for
right.
everybody, bro.
I know.
You know,
yeah.
gold is gold. Gold is a luxury. At the end of the day, gold is a luxury. Diamonds are a luxury. But if you're looking for quality, you know, at the right price, I got you. You know, you know that we run that 40% off year round for all first responders, for veterans, you know, for teachers. All you guys who are first responders, you guys got 40% off all year long. Right now, during Christmas season, I run a 45% off the store. So it's even better than that 40%. It's actually 45% off for everybody. Because one of the biggest issues that I have, and Wes, I'm going to tell you this. You know what I fucking hate? I hate when an ad says, new customers only.
Oh, yeah.
That shit drives me nuts. How are you going to reward your new customers, but not the people that have been with you forever?
Of course. Right. Makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense, bro.
Right.
So if you, my client, I'm going to give you the best deals possible because you supported me. You know, I'm going to figure it out and you're going to get the best deals. You know, because that client, that retention, that person that has been there, that one that donates every time you have a drive, that one that comes through every single time that you say, hey, we need this, we need that, those are the ones that you got to take care of constantly. Everybody needs to have that love. You know, you got to show love for everybody. In our community, we got to show love for each other. I'm always shouting out businesses all the time. You know, why? Because if I believe in you, if I use you, I'm going to shout you out. I don't shout out anybody that I don't use. But if I've used you, I'm shouting you out. I'll share you on the content. I mean, we got 65,000 followers. That's a little bit. So we'll share you, you know. I'll donate to a dance team, which, you know, I'll donate to them so that they can go to, you know, their nationals. I'll donate to, you know, whoever needs. I'm there. Why? Because I believe in it. I believe in this. I believe in the community of Miami. I believe that we need to stay together, brother. So important to support one another. You know, it's huge. It's huge. And it's like, if I'm going to be putting my money out there, why put it with anybody that's not in the community?
So on that note, man, if you guys haven't already started following Jose and West Miami Jewelry, please do. On Instagram, it's just like that, right? West Miami Jewelry.
That's it.
Do you do TikTok?
I don't do TikTok. We have it. We don't really mess with it. That demographic is a little bit past my prime already. You know.
You know what? But you know what you would do good with that? The videos of people running into the fucking glass and all that stupid shit.
That's, you know. Listen, if you're following me because people are hitting their head in the glass, you know, don't go at me. All right, just like that. It's funny.
That's true, yeah.
It's funny.
Right.
But there's a lot more
More
to it than
yeah,
that.
exactly.
But I get it. I understand that it's funny. We laugh. We put it on there, and yes, it's good. But that doesn't monetize, bro.
Exactly. Yeah.
I need, you know, at the end of the day, let's be realistic. I don't need to have 1 million followers. I don't. I need to have followers that are gonna come spend money.
Right.
You know, these businesses out there. I'm gonna give some advice for all the businesses out there. People, if you're gonna hire an influencer, make sure that people that follow that influencer are people that are gonna buy from you. How are you gonna get yourself? Okay, look at the demographic of your business. Let's say your demographic is Hispanics, and they don't speak English, and you go and you hire yourself an English-speaking influencer that never reaches your clientele. Eres un pendejo. You just wasted all that money.
Right.
What do I need to have una modelo that everybody's following her because of her
Ass and titties, yeah.
Ass and titties. Y la diva no me vende nada.
Right.
I don't need that. I need an influencer, whoever I want to work with, anybody that I'm touching base with is somebody that's the same as me, that is a Miami boy. I worked with El Caballo, right? I work with Flava. You know, we work with Yuli. We work with all these guys, you know. A Cuban dude, you know. Miami Repo, Lifestyle Miami. You know, Only in Dade. Those are our peoples, you know?
It's crazy. You just named all the homies. Alex, that's my repo. Caballo, my boy Marcos. Yeah, all these people. Yeah. That's,
so it's like those are the people that we work with.
But Jose, that's what sets you apart, brother. You are a walking testament of a black sheep in your own way in so many different realms. And that's why you're as successful as it is. And this is why you're on your second store and you putting things together the way you are, you know? And it's awesome to see, and it's awesome to spread that love and get all this great advice that people should be listening to, you know, by all means, from a business owner who's already learned it from others and then learned it from himself as well. So I'm all for that, man, and I love hearing that. And the proof is in the pudding, man. Again, you know, look at Bearded Villains and how much they do and all the support that they show and the help that they get, and boom, look how they mingle with you the same way. And then when you do that, so many people, look at how many people are still connected, and everybody's winning. Bearded Villains are winning. You're winning. Marcos, Caballo's winning. Yuli's winning. Everybody's winning. Repo, he's winning. You know, and it's great. It's great because the proof is in the pudding that we need to keep pushing ourselves. We need to keep helping support locally. We need to give each other the shout outs that we do, you know, and it's a great thing, brother. It really is. And it goes to show why you're as successful as you are, homie, and so much people got mad love for you, man. You know, I'm really glad that I've gotten to know you this well right now. And I've been telling Mikey because, you know, all our schedules are just so crazy, but I've been telling Mikey, you need to tell your dad, well, obviously I'm talking about you, tell your dad, man, when are we going to have a drink? When are we going to go do something? When are we going to chill? You know, never it is after that. He told me he went to the BKFC fights with you.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, tell that motherfucker to let me know when he's going to go, man. I want to hang out with your dad. You know, he's one of my peoples. I know we're the same because we got the same people. We got to be one of the same. Want to hang out. We never had the chance to, but now we have. You know, we did for a short time when I went to your second store. And we definitely did a lot today, man. And I'm glad we did. You know, you're an awesome dude. And this is why people should support you as much as
Appreciate
they do.
that.
And they're going to keep going. So, guys, please give West Miami Jewelry a follow on Instagram. If you're in the Miami region or South Florida or shit, I even saw one of your videos. You said that you'll fucking deliver. You'll do all
we
that.
ship everywhere, bro.
Everywhere, yeah.
Listen, so we're actually pretty big in Texas, bro.
Really?
Fucking, I love you, Texas. Yeah, man.
That's what's
so,
up,
So you
man.
know, Dallas, Fort Worth, that whole area is big for us.
Nice.
You know, a lot of love there. You know, I've traveled to deliver pieces actually in Dallas a couple of times already, and that might be, you know, the next store.
Hey,
You know,
okay.
hey, let's put it out there, right?
There you go.
So,
Yes, yeah.
Right now we're working on, you visited me at the second location that we're opening. It's
Right.
called La Bóveda, which means the vault. It's La Bóveda Pond. It's right there in Alapata. So we're working on that location now.
We don't have an official date when it'll be. No,
Don't know
keep your
yet.
eyes
Don't
open.
know yet. I'm working on
Dealing
that.
with permits or
Yeah,
whatever, all that
working
bullshit.
with the city. You know,
County.
anybody in business knows the city. You know, we got to work with them.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for that. You know, we have the tax office on Burr Road. If you guys don't know, Burr Road Taxes, that's my other place. We have Studio 305 right here in Kendall, Studio 305
it.
Banco Hall, you know. And whatever you guys need, let me know. Get at me. I love you all. And thank you so much for having me, man.
Man, you're awesome, brother. You guys, hey, love all the support. Keep tuned in, man. There's a lot of big things coming for the podcast. And by the way, guys, if you haven't already done it, man, push that button to subscribe. Make sure you drop that thumbs up and like and share this with one of your friends, you know, so they can come show support too. Jose, much love for you, baby. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
Miami, stand up. Make sure you show your love. Peace.
Got it.